Open Water, directed by Chris Kentis, is a pared-down survival horror film that plunges directly into the heart of primal fear. The plot is based on actual events and chronicles the harrowing experience of a couple stranded in the vast ocean, at the mercy of an infinite sea and potential shark encounters. The film effectively portrays extreme isolation and human vulnerability. In Open Water, Susan and Daniel are enjoying their holiday in a tropical paradise. They decide to go scuba diving, but due to a miscalculation by the boat crew, they find themselves abandoned in the middle of the ocean. As hours pass without any signs of rescue, their situation grows increasingly dire. Surrounded by endless water, they must contend with dehydration, adverse weather conditions, and sharks. The power of Open Water lies in its capacity to stir up profound fears without falling back on typical horror tropes. The film concentrates on pure terror, experiencing utter solitude in an immense and hostile environment. Open Water delves deep into feelings of abandonment and powerlessness. The wide-open sea serves as a metaphor for desertion and insignificance, with no sign of land or assistance in sight. As Susan and Daniel come face to face with their grim reality, they rely more heavily on their survival instincts. The film depicts how initial optimism gradually transforms into despair as they struggle with their predicament. I felt their mental breakdown was portrayed realistically. The movie also examines how Susan and Daniel's relationship evolves under intense stress. Their interactions underscore humans' inherent need for companionship, even in the most dire of circumstances. Fear of the unknown lurking beneath is another significant theme of Open Water. The expansive ocean conceals potential threats, heightening the couple's distress. The film's minimalist approach amplifies this fear, making what's unseen more terrifying than what's visible. The deep sea symbolically represents hidden dangers that lurk just below the surface. Kentis employs various filmmaking techniques to enhance the movie's somber mood. Handheld cameras and natural lighting contribute to a realistic atmosphere, drawing viewers into Susan and Daniel's plight. The sound design, with its constant wave sounds and occasional underwater silence, creates an eerie ambience. Open Water thrives on minimalism. It ditches special effects and drama, instead leaning into a strong narrative and solid performances to bring the terror to life. The film follows a couple's desperate battle for survival. The open sea in the movie is indifferent, underlining human vulnerability and our unavoidable demise. Susan and Daniel are confronted with death, sparking profound contemplations about life's meaning and the randomness of fate. This existential dread permeates the storyline, intensifying their physical and mental fight with an added layer of philosophical horror. Among other survival horror films like The Shallows and Adrift, Open Water stands its ground. Its relentless realism and psychological depth set it apart from others that rely on overblown drama or sensationalism. Instead, it zeroes in on human resilience against nature's brutal terror, offering a more introspective and unsettling experience. Character development is where this movie truly shines. Susan and Daniel are ordinary people trapped in an extraordinary situation. Their responses, fears, and tenacity are depicted with such precision that their struggle feels real. Blanchard Ryan and Daniel Travis deliver compelling performances that capture their characters' emotional turmoil subtly. The stark portrayal of isolation and survival in Open Water leaves viewers deeply affected as it taps into universal fears. The tension never lets up. Every moment of hope or despair resonates with audiences. Its realistic depiction, combined with a stripped-down style, creates an immersive environment that draws viewers into Susan and Daniel's plight. Since its release, Open Water has had a significant impact on the survival horror genre by demonstrating how low-budget filmmaking can effectively convey psychological terror. Its focus on realism and character-centric storytelling has influenced subsequent films, proving that simplicity can stir up fear. Open Water is a well-crafted survival horror film that delves deep into the psychology of fear and isolation. Chris Kentis's direction, coupled with strong performances and a pared-down style, results in an atmosphere of relentless dread. The movie's exploration of themes like mortality, helplessness, and the unknown strikes a chord, setting Open Water apart in its genre. As viewers journey with Susan and Daniel through the merciless ocean, they're made to face life's fragility against nature's apathy. Open Water isn't just a film. It leaves a lasting impression long after it ends, reminding us of our primal fears beneath the surface of everyday life. I'm a horror movie fanatic, and it takes a lot to shock or surprise me, but I was both terrified and moved by this movie. I felt for this couple and was angry that they were left behind and forced to fend for themselves against the elements. I highly recommend this movie. Open Water is an adventure horror drama thriller that is 1 hour and 19 minutes long and is rated R. The Southern Underworld gives it 4.5 bloody knives. The 2006 film Open Water 2: Adrift, a survival thriller directed by Hans Horn, immerses viewers in the chilling fear of isolation and helplessness. The storyline explores the dire consequences that can result from a seemingly minor oversight. Although this film is not a sequel to its namesake, Open Water, it shares the same central theme, battling for survival in an unforgiving ocean. The narrative revolves around a group of friends who find themselves stranded in open water due to their forgetfulness to lower the ladder on their yacht. This minute blunder escalates into a life-threatening situation, turning the film into an intense psychological journey. The plot tracks 6 friends who set out for a leisurely yacht trip. Their fun-filled outing takes a terrifying twist when they dive off for a swim, only to realize they're stranded without any means of getting back onto the boat. Their yacht, once representing safety, becomes an unreachable sanctuary, leaving them helplessly adrift at sea, grappling with panic attacks and the harsh realities of nature. The terror in Open Water 2: Adrift stems from its portrayal of human frailty and mental deterioration under extreme duress. The film heightens tension by zeroing in on the characters' escalating fear and desperation as the hours tick by. Their physical endurance and mental resilience are pushed to the breaking point, exposing some unsettling facets of humanity. Isolation is pivotal to the film, underscored by the barren ocean that engulfs the characters. This sense of isolation extends beyond physical boundaries into psychological terrain as each character confronts their deepest fears and insecurities. Their failure to regain access to their yacht symbolizes a loss of control and security, thrusting them into total helplessness. As conditions deteriorate, survival instincts surface. The movie explores survival psychology, illustrating how people's reactions to crises can vary. Open Water 2: Adrift also scrutinizes how friendships can buckle under severe strain. Initial unity swiftly dissipates as blame and fear take precedence, leading to psychological tension as trust disintegrates and conflicts escalate. The ocean's concealed perils serve as metaphors for the fear of the unknown, a fear that is intensified by the perpetual threat of hidden hazards lurking beneath the surface. The film's cinematography enhances this fear by capturing both limitless watery expanses and individual vulnerability. Hans Horn employs various cinematic techniques to amplify the film's somber tone and psychological impact. Handheld cameras and natural lighting foster a sense of authenticity that draws viewers into the character's plight. Sound design plays a significant role too. Continual wave sounds interspersed with eerie silence ratchet up tension. Open Water 2: Adrift adopts a minimalist approach, depending on its narrative and performances, rather than large-scale special effects or dramatic scenes. This restraint renders the horror more authentic, drawing viewers into the character's struggle for survival. By emphasizing character-driven storytelling, it allows psychological terror to take center stage, making Open Water 2: Adrift a prime example of impactful filmmaking. This film explores the raw essence of humanity. It uses the boundless ocean as a symbol of the universe's indifference to human suffering, mirroring our frailties and unavoidable demise. The movie compels viewers to ponder life's meaning and the sometimes cruel nature of destiny. These philosophical dilemmas permeate the film, amplifying the character's physical and mental anguish. The narrative centers around average individuals plunged into an extraordinary predicament. Their responses, apprehensions, and resolve are depicted authentically, making their dilemma both relatable and disconcerting for viewers. The actors give compelling performances that faithfully represent their characters' emotional upheaval. Watching Open Water 2: Adrift leaves a lasting mark on its audience. It skillfully illustrates themes of solitude and survival that strike at universal fears, resulting in a distressing viewing experience. The movie sustains this psychological tension from beginning to end, continually oscillating between hope and despair that imprints itself on viewers' minds. Its minimalist yet authentic style crafts an immersive environment that draws audiences into the character's horrifying ordeal. Since it first hit theaters, Open Water 2: Adrift has significantly influenced the survival horror genre. Its box office success validates the potential of low-budget filmmaking when executed correctly, particularly in psychological horror films. The emphasis on realism and character-centric storytelling has inspired numerous other movies within this genre. This film delves into fear and isolation profoundly enough to strike a chord with global audiences. It's an exploration of humanity's profoundest fears. As viewers track the characters' battle against nature's apathy on the open sea, they're reminded of life's fragility. It is not merely another survival horror film, but a showcase of the power of low-budget filmmaking and the impact psychological terror can have when executed with careful attention to detail. Open Water 2: Adrift is a horror drama thriller that is 1 hour and 34 minutes long and is rated R. The Southern Underworld gives it 5 bloody knives. Open Water 3: Cage Dive is a chilling contribution to the realm of survival horror cinema. It plunges its audience into an abyss of fear that's both tangible and psychological. This third chapter in the Open Water saga, under the direction of Gerald Rascionato, offers a lesson in minimalist horror. The merciless ocean becomes a theater for human terror and desperation. Adhering to the found footage approach of its predecessors, Cage Dive distinguishes itself by fully embracing the sheer terror of being marooned at sea amidst sharks. The storyline centers on 3 friends, Jeff, Josh, and Megan, who set out on a quest to audition for an extreme reality show. Their adventure leads them to Australia's rugged coastline, where they intend to capture their daring shark cage diving experience on film. However, their thrilling exploit swiftly devolves into a nightmare when an unexpected wave overturns their boat, leaving them stranded in open water with nothing but a waterproof camera. Cage Dive excels in evoking profound psychological fear among its viewers. It eschews conventional jump scares common in mainstream horror films and instead taps into more fundamental fears, the fear of isolation and the unknown, and employs time as an adversary against a backdrop teeming with looming danger. Isolation is frequently employed in survival horror films, and Cage Dive expertly utilizes this theme. The expansive ocean symbolizes the character's seclusion from society. Enclosed solely by water and sky, their solitude becomes tangible. This isolation isn't merely physical, but also emotional as they grapple with the bleak reality that rescue may never arrive. The film leverages the enigma of the ocean to magnify fear. Unseen threats lurking beneath create immense psychological tension. Viewers share this dread, left speculating about what terrors lie below, which escalates unease and suspense. As their predicament worsens, Cage Dive delves deeper into survival psychology. It scrutinizes various responses to extreme stress. Some exhibit resilience while others yield to panic and despair. This examination of survival instincts adds complexity to the narrative and underlines human vulnerability in dire circumstances. Cage Dive also scrutinizes group dynamics in survival situations. The initial camaraderie among friends crumbles as fear and desperation take hold. Their plight ignites conflicts that mirror each character's internal turmoil, adding another layer of psychological horror. Director Gerald Rascionato employs several cinematic techniques to amplify the film's spooky tone and psychological impact. The found footage style imparts a sense of urgency and authenticity, immersing viewers more effectively than conventional cinematography. The unstable handheld camera work reflects their precarious situation, making the terror feel direct and personal. The final product is a cinematic experience that lingers with the viewer long after it concludes, demonstrating Rascionato's skilled direction and comprehension of the horror genre. Cage Dive triumphs in sound design, utilizing the echoing depths of the ocean and sporadic shark growls to build tension. The strategic use of silence crafts an unsettling atmosphere, allowing viewers' imaginations to fill in the gaps. This minimalist approach enhances the sensation of terror, making the horror on screen feel authentic. The film shuns flashy special effects or fantasy elements. Instead, it explores a plausible nightmare scenario that could happen to anyone. The raw and realistic nature of Cage Dive is what makes it so engaging and impactful. It immerses viewers right into the character's harrowing situation. At its core, Cage Dive is about mortality and human vulnerability against nature's apathy. The vast ocean serves as a constant reminder of nature's might and our fragility within it. As we observe the characters grappling with their looming doom against insurmountable odds, viewers are prompted to ponder life's meaning and the randomness of fate. Our three protagonists are ordinary individuals thrust into an extraordinary situation. Cage Dive leaves a lasting impression with its raw portrayal of isolation and survival. It taps into basic fears for a disconcerting viewing experience. The psychological tension is relentless, and each moment of hope or despair resonates with viewers. Since its release, Open Water 3 Cage Dive has significantly influenced survival horror films. It demonstrates how low-budget filmmaking can effectively deliver psychological horror by emphasizing realism and character-driven storytelling. Gerald Rashinato's direction and the outstanding performances of the cast bring to life a well-crafted survival horror movie that effortlessly captures the essence of fear and isolation. Through a minimalist storytelling approach, the film creates a sense of overwhelming dread and existential terror. It delves into themes such as mortality, helplessness, and fear of the unknown, striking a deep emotional chord with the audience. Viewers are pulled into a never-ending ocean alongside the protagonists and forced to confront human vulnerability against nature's indifference. Through its exploration of primal fears, Cage Dive exposes the hidden undercurrents beneath everyday life. This movie's ending will be etched in my memory forever. Although I have enjoyed every film in the Open Water series, it has also made me second-guess any plans to visit the beach. Open Water 3 Cage Dive is an adventure horror drama thriller that is 1 hour and 20 minutes long and is rated R. For me, it was the most brutal of the three films, but also the best. The Southern Underworld gives it 5 bloody knives.